Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 18th, 2020, and I thought what I'd do today is talk to you about an idea that I have, starting another playlist on this video channel, although my playlists are pretty much a mess. But recently I've been trying to do garden update videos or greenhouse videos, workshop videos, those sorts of things. And I know that I've got so many different topics that I've covered, and some really didn't generate very much interest at all. But for several reasons, I've been thinking about creating a new playlist on investing, and this would basically be centered around financial investments. The reasons why I'm thinking about doing this is, one, my kids are at an age, they're in their 40s, soon to be 50. My grandkids are in their 20s, or most of them are in their 20s. And many of their cohorts are realizing, because of technology advancements now and phone apps and the media and the YouTube videos on making money quickly, by various financial investment guidelines, I think this is an excellent opportunity for me to be able to create a legacy of files, of videos, where my family and friends can go to and at least get my perspective on investing. Not trading, but investing. And I'll make videos explaining these things. And so I'm really interested, and I'll give a couple more explanations why in a moment, but I'm really interested in, should I make this a separate YouTube channel and keep everything more or less gardening, homesteading, some of the health things, not too much health, some of the construction projects that I've been doing and all. Should I leave it at that? I'm really interested in your feedback on this. Other reasons why I'm really interested in covering these topics, especially for my kids and grandkids, is because there's so much misinformation, or what I would say is the whole concept of fear of missing out, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. These terms that are used to describe the topics that YouTubers or many other blogs and all, I'm sure, also promote about investing. So, there's a lot of information that I think isn't valuable for people to have a fairly good starting place for beginning investing and feeling confident that they've gone through several steps in order to understand that they're really investing properly. Most people that I've spoken with, and myself included in the past, it was just too complex for me and too overwhelming, and I didn't want to do my own homework. I would rather listen to someone and say, okay, I have confidence in you, here's the money, invest it as you see fit. Then I had my whole come to Jesus moment, where I realized that some of the investments that I was invested in didn't align with my ethics. And I'll tell more stories about that in future videos. So recently, another reason is Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, recently announced that although the interest rates have been low for quite some period of time now, nothing like what I experienced years ago with higher interest rates, but at an interest rate of 0 or even possibly below for the foreseeable future, for several years at least, that creates a cascade of events where companies will extend loans and make further investments, and therefore prices of items will go up and inflation goes up. And if you have money that's in an emergency fund, or you have money that isn't being invested in stocks, or you have money in bonds, your purchasing power of those funds is decreased, continually. Every year, the buying power is less and less. So those are are topics that I want to cover as well. And I know there was another reason, and I'm just sort of snowballing this right now, trying to make sure I get this video made. But if I think of it again in a moment, I'll bring that up. Oh, the other reason is there's so much misinformation out there. You know, there's people in front of Lamborghinis or the click icons with cash there, or there's so many young retail investors that are out there at this point, potentially overextending themselves and not really having a good set of steps to go through in order to make sure that their investments are well thought out and they're ready to let the waves of the economy. In other words, there's going to be pullbacks and there's going to be gains, and then there's going to be times where we have 10% pullback in the market or 20% pullback in the market. And without that understanding, you can have a fear of missing out on selling at the appropriate time, or fear of missing out at buying when the market is low, all of those things. So investing is one of those things where if you have got a really good plan and you've got the guts to stick to your plan, you're set. Also, I want to talk about emergency funds. So when I think things are different now because of the interest rates being so low, you know, if you're my age and you've got reasonable funds, that having an emergency fund sitting in a cash account isn't necessarily the wise way of going about it. And I'll explain all these things in future videos. So I think I covered several of the reasons why I'm thinking about making this list. And, you know, if you feel, please comment. Let me know what you think. You're saying, geez, I'm not at all interested in this stuff. You know, that's for, just say you're not interested. Or you say, yeah, please make this interesting. Try to make it interesting. Create playlists for this. And the playlist will be just basically, I don't know how I'll title it. Instead of garden updates or greenhouse build, it'll be investing. Now, I should say this. Have no economics training whatsoever. All of my initial investments as a young man throughout my life and even into my 50s were, I'd say that they mistakes, and they certainly didn't yield the results that I think are certainly possible with a very thorough understanding of the difference between investing and trading, and doing the research, doing due diligence to understand how these systems work. And some of the videos I'll create right off the bat will be, really understanding, the benefits of, employer matches, Roth IRAs versus standard IRAs, and probably most people already know this. So that's why I'm explaining that these are topics that I want to have available for my grandkids or even my great-grandkids in the future and all. So I think that, and another reason that I'm interested in making these videos is that the things that I'm mostly interested in are disruptive industries. And I'll go through a whole list of these various technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence, blockchain, autonomous vehicles. There's a whole slew of different areas that I think are important. And then the principles on which I use to assess a company. And for someone my age, I really don't want to wait around and wait for a 10 or 12% return on investment each year, or I really want to have, on average, a 5-fold or 10-fold within 5 to 10 years on my investments. So there's risk, these are disruptive technologies, there are lots of innovation, and understanding the innovative advantages that each one of these corporations will have. We just happen to be living in a major transition period. And now, before the big transition was having the internet, having colored TVs, having phones, internal combustion engine automobiles going from horse to carriage. These things, and having the PC or the Mac in everyone's home, or the smartphone. So those were all pretty important disruptive technology things that happened. But right now we're at the beginning of several different technologies that are going to come together, and it's going to completely change everything. The future, I don't want to say it's going to be a utopian world that we live in, because right now there's also the possibility with the politics and the issues that we're dealing right now could be dystopian. We may even have a civil war here in the country. So having a balanced portfolio like I've described in the past, where you have social investments, cultural investments, material investments, certainly always working on your intellectual investments, studying, understanding the topics that you want to go through, developing skills as well. All of those things that I talked about are very, very important in order to become more resilient to challenging times. And this part that I want to talk about with the financial investments are so that we have somewhat of a good footer and a good foundation of understanding, at least from my perspective, of things that we need to be looking for and doing due diligence, doing the research on these areas to see, is this corporation one that I want to put my money in as a investment into their stock, as becoming a shareholder of this company, with the hopes that there's going to be a 5-fold or a 10-fold return on investment within a 5 to 10 year period. And that's an investment. An investment is when you buy into, once you've done all your homework, you buy into. You become a shareholder in a corporation, and you sit back, you still do some monitoring, but you don't have to do as much work as you do in the very beginning. And I think I'll just stop at this point, and please let me know if you think, geez, no, Kevin, create another channel, do this elsewhere. I just want to keep hearing about the things that we've been talking about thus far and all. So that's all I've got to say for this video today. There'll be some interesting things. I do want to introduce you to Hound, the skid steer, the track skid steer, which has been very helpful around here. I'm making headway down there in the beaver dam still. And we got a frost coming up either tonight or tomorrow night, or both nights potentially. And so how we're going to deal with these things, I'll be doing some videos in the future about everything from curing to storing to the optimal temperatures and humidity for various different crops that we grow here, and so on and so forth. And I think that about covers everything. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about this channel. Should I put this information here? I'll read all of the comments as usual, and I really do appreciate. Oh, one other thing. We surpassed 6,000 subscribers. We don't get that many views, but I guess that's an accomplishment, and I thank all of you for your contributions, your subscription, your comments especially, and your thumbs up or hearts, whatever it may be. I really, really, really appreciate it a lot. And without you, we could never have made this channel be as successful as it is, however you want to rate success. I feel that I'm trying to give my honest opinion about everything, and I really appreciate your honest feedback as well. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Stay healthy, take good care of yourselves, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. Bye-bye now.